Hello everyone, welcome back. I'm doing another sketchbook session today. We're drawing on some brown paper for once. I actually have half of this sketchbook I filled with brown paper like this, but I don't remember if I actually shown any of the stuff I've been drawing on it. I think I've only recorded the ones that I've been doing on regular white paper, so this is different, I suppose. And we're drawing a disgusting eye today. That's a fun subject. I actually mean that. It was really fun to draw. I mean, drawing any kind of diseased looking things is very interesting and challenging. So I had fun with this one, and I hope you guys will not feel too queasy if there's any out there who are more sensitive about looking at the gross droopy eyes and stuff. I know I had a lot of not fun looking at the reference pictures for this. Oh, by the way, a quick introduction for anyone who's new to my channel. I'm Minna, aka Hummingfluff, and I'm a comic artist. I make a webcomic called Stand Still, Stay Silent, and it's a postapocalyptic Nordic adventure, and occasionally I get to draw fun monsters in it, hence these kind of practice drawings. And I was actually, before this one that I recorded, I was just practicing drawing eyes in general, like kinda watery, like veiny, inflamed eyes, to practice that kind of stuff. And that's why I got inspired to do this one, more free drawing rather than straight from a reference. I still use the reference of like eye inflammation, and I dissected the mouse, I think, for like the more inwardly kind of structures that are going to start taking shape eventually. And yeah, that's what I was working on, some eye drawings, and it was really fun doing those, which is why I wanted to continue the theme like right here. You guys will see the ones that I did as practice when I do my next sketchbook tour. I'm about halfway finished with this one, so maybe in a month or two I'm gonna have the whole thing filled up, and you guys will see the whole kind of stuff that I do that I don't show you guys. I've drawn a lot of weird looking ugly food in there. Not ugly by purpose, more in that I don't really know how to draw food looking delicious. I've used some weird colors and stuff, and everything looks like made out of Play-Doh. Purple Play-Doh cake. That's something we all want. So anyway, the references that I used for these were, as I mentioned, like inflamed eyes, and it was kind of tricky getting the kind of references I wanted. Not because they're difficult to find. Like if you use Google eyes for reference, you're not gonna get the kind of interesting pictures that I wanted, and you just get like the beautiful, nice eyes with no veins or goop or droopy eyelids, and probably even photoshopped away like the little folds that you have inside your eye, like the little red part. No, the way you get the interesting looking eyes is you Google for different eye conditions, like well, as I mentioned, inflamed eyes, or like eye cancer. Don't Google eye cancer, that is horrible. I think it's called like retinoblastoma. That one looks really bad. Yeah, I've googled that a few times, and I have some interesting mental images. It's very good for nightmare fuel inspiration though, if you're short on that. Retinoblastoma mostly affects children, so be warned. But yeah, for this one I just googled you actually googled wet eyes rather than inflamed eyes, because I didn't want to have like a wall of disgusting inflamed eyes from like medical journals in front of me when I was drawing, because I do get a little bit queasy having too many gross pictures open. So I wanted to Google something less severe. Wet eyes was a good one, because you got a lot of like teary eyes, slightly moist eyes, and then sprinkled in between you had like the kind of veiny, mucusy eyes that I was wanting. And the reason I wanted those kind of eyes is because with the mucus and wetness and redness, the shape of the eyeball becomes really pronounced, and eyelids also tend to be like puffier and you stand out a lot, and you tend to have like really medically taken close-ups and stuff that are really good for reference. That's a good tip for anyone who's looking for more interesting references, to Google like something slightly less appealing in your search term, because then you tend to get like the grittier pictures that aren't just taken to look pretty. You might get the kind of pictures where people have taken a photo of their arm or their nose or their foot and been like, hey guys, does anyone know what's wrong with my foot? And then you have a much more interesting photo than like a foot model photo. And you get the more varied kind of information into your mind and into your practices. And the materials that I used for this are pretty simple. As you saw in the beginning, I was just sketching with like a gray marker of some sort. I think it's a Eco line, like a big thick brush tip marker. Normally I don't sketch, like if I'm painting something or drawing my comic, I obviously don't sketch with a permanent anything. Well, digitally when I do the comic I don't sketch with any marker-ish thing, but normally I sketch with a pencil like most people. But for these kind of practices I like keeping it kind of loose and just go with the flow. So I was sketching with something more permanent, where I had to think a little bit much where I placed different areas of whatever I want to draw, like the holes and stuff in the tissue behind Emil, who is the character in the forefront. And then I do the line art with just some fineliners. I think these are Pigma Microns, just regular black ones. And then I have this red brush pen. It's actually unnecessarily expensive one. It's also a Pigma Micron, I think. And it's pretty small. It was actually starting to run out of ink when I was doing this. I don't think it's meant to be used to fill in large areas like this, but I don't actually have any, like I have really few brush markers. I like using them, but I've never like bought a set. So I only have like 10 of them, and most of them are blue. So I don't have a single red one. I think I have one light pink. But yeah, I had to use my really small mini brush pen, and it, as I mentioned, it started running out of ink from this because it was too much for it. I'll have to buy some proper ones, because this was really fun, and I love the red and black and tan color combination, as I'm sure most of you know. And then of course I will be adding white gel pen eventually. You guys will see me do that. It will be the part where I start adding like how would I explain it, like a three-dimensional-ish feel to it, because that's why I really like the tan paper. You start with adding like the dark shadowy areas, and you get the depth in the image, and then you can add light stuff to the top and you get things standing out really nicely. Like, I love working that way, having a medium color as a base and then working into the darks and also working into the lights. With watercolors, which I also love, I obviously can't do that. I have to always build from light to dark, but with gel pens like this, or acrylics, or digital even, it's really nice having that medium color in the middle and working in both directions. It's much easier to get like a real pop out of dimensions that way, rather than just having to add dark and dark, because then I have the problem where I go too dark and I can't go back, and it's very annoying. So anyway, how's everyone doing? I'm doing fine. The weather is actually really nice. It's been snowing a lot. I think I mentioned in a couple of videos ago that we didn't have any snow. Well, now we have snow, about half a meter of it, and it's like minus 12 degrees today. So, and it was sunny. Oh, I should have gone for a walk. I didn't. Maybe won't have time tomorrow, but maybe the day after it. I want to take some reference pictures of the woods when it's really pretty and snowy, and do some practices from that. So maybe that's another thing I could record for you guys, is do some environment and lighting practices. Don't know if I do it in digital or gouache, maybe gouache. It's kinda fun to challenge myself to do that and not just do the digital color practices. But yeah, that's how the weather is. It's kind of weird having it so cold again. Like, I've gotten so used to this year being like not super cold, like only maybe -5 at most, which means I can just go outside and give some food to the birds without really putting anything on. I can just go out in a t-shirt and be there for a few minutes without it starting to like hurt my skin. But with -12, I open the door and I say no and go back inside and have to put a bunch of clothes on before I go outside to feed the birds who keep eating everything constantly. I feel like there must be a squirrel or something also eating, because yeah, they are real hogs. Wait, how do you say? They eat like horses, these birds. But I guess they're hungry when it's winter. But yeah, it's been really cold and nice. By the way, speaking about the birds, I just have to mention that I bought these really cute bird feeding tables, except they're not tables. You kinda hook them into the tree and they just hang down, and they're shaped like little houses, and you can put the seeds inside the houses through the roof, and then they just kind of spill out through the like doors and little holes on the sides. And one of them says like restaurant, and one is like a barn, and one is just like a residential little house, and they're so cute. I have 3 of them hanging in my tree, and I think they cost like 15 euros a piece, maybe even 20, so they weren't cheap. And I thought they would be something that would last for several years, because they were fairly, well, maybe they're not fairly pricey. I guess they must have been tough to make, even though they're, factory made, but still. But yeah, I thought they would be like multi-year things, but now that we're getting to the latter part of winter, and they've been up for maybe 4 months. It's been bird feeding winter season, and they are not looking very good. In fact, they are looking pretty horrible. The birds poop all over them, like they sit on the roof and poop on them, and they scratch them up, so they have all of the paint is coming off. the side that sun doesn't shine on have a bunch of mold growing on the walls of the little houses, and it's just, they are in horrible shape. They're like melting away in the winter. So sadly those are not going to last for a second year. And even though they have been really cute, I don't think I'm going to buy new ones. I don't want to buy a new set of houses every year. I'm gonna have to come up with a more permanent situation for them. I mean, I guess I can just put up like plastic hangers, which I also do have, but they're just so ugly. I like having them cute and nice there for the birdies, even though the birds don't care, it's just for me. But no, I think it's gonna be ugly plastic stands from now on, unless I can find like a nice plastic tree houses for them. Like that would be nice. That would last for the next 20 years or something. We'll see. I'll have to figure out something for next year. For now they can have their moldy, bird poopy, frozen feeder houses. Oh, looks like we are done with the drawing. Alright, thanks you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. I enjoyed drawing it, and my comic, as I mentioned, is, well, I put the link on the screen, and everything is gonna be normal schedule-wise next week. Live streams on weekend, and new YouTube video, and comic pages posted as normal. Yeah, nothing to report, and I am out. Goodbye.